obviously it's Fed controls, the interest rates, which hits the stock market, which hits Bitcoin, which hits
Hmm.
Ethereum. It just it's dominoes and it hits all the other altcoins typically, but sometimes there will be a decoupling. And that was one of the things that everybody in the Hex community was saying about 2 years ago, is that it was decoupled. And now we've seen it seem like it follows along with the macro situation. What do
Hmm.
you think about that? Because that is something that I don't hear a lot of people talk about right now. Do you think Hex is correlated to Bitcoin, or is it totally separate?
I think that every coin acts like almost a person. Like when they're young, they're just wild and free. They can go up, they can go down, they can crash, they can do anything. But after a while, like after its first bull run or whatever, it starts to stabilize and it starts to go exactly where all the rest of the market is going. Crypto is a little bit more volatile; it changes more.
Yeah.
But even Bitcoin itself follows the regular S&P 500. It follows the Nasdaq. It didn't used to when it was younger. It didn't used to. It just did
Right.
whatever it wants. But now that's a more stable coin. Now it follows it directly. But
And
with its 4-year cycle though, it has more power to change things during its that fourth bull run year. It has more power to just break away. But even when it
mhm,
breaks away, it eventually comes back down and stabilizes with the rest of the market. So,
right. Do you think it could just be as simple as this? That what you said is absolutely true. But is it just that eventually, once enough eyes get on it and it has, a purpose, a product market fit,
mhm.
the guys with big money, big bags, institutional money, they start to get involved, and that ultimately means more liquidity is needed by them or by other people, and then the more liquidity gets involved, the more it's just that thing that Richard Hart said. He calls it Hart's law or whatever, but basically it's, hey, if I have the majority of my liquidity in Ethereum, well, it's now tied to Ethereum. Do you
Yeah.
agree with that?
I guess so. You could agree with that, but then because crypto is so dynamic, people can just pull things out anytime they want to. Like someone could
Yeah.
just pull out $100 million out of Ethereum's system right now if they wanted to,
Yeah.
and that would cause the price to crash probably like 10%. You would think that $100 million is not that much of a grand scheme of things because it's billions and billions, but actually, like a little pullout that's really dramatic
Mhm.
will then cause other people to pull out, and then has a cascading effect, right? So.
Yeah,
Um,
that's true. In and of itself, it wouldn't be that big of a deal, but it's like, why when a bunch of coins get stolen? This was an interesting thing that Jesse brought up. Like an FTX happens, or what, we had a ton this last year, but any one of those events happens where coins get stolen. Um, FTX is a bad example, but let's say a hacker steals a bunch of coins. Well, he doesn't immediately sell those coins. Like
yeah,
typically he's stolen those coins. Why does the market crash? And it's like, well, it's contagion. It's
yeah,
that's part of it, and the other part is I think institutions start to see, oh, look at all the money that just disappeared, and that's potential liquidity. That's our potential exit plan. And so if we can't be the smartest and know what's going to happen in the future, and we can't innovate or change the situation, then let's be first.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
then they start the downward cycle. And I think they try to do it on the other side too. They try to be the first in, obviously buying the bottom, but yeah, man, it's interesting. It's hard because I've noticed myself with all these delays in Pulsechain. I'm so excited for Pulsechain. I remember talking to my wife about like a year ago. Like, you
mhm,
realize like it's going to take like 2 years, but you realize in 2 years, like, there's going to be exciting things happening.
yeah,
And I still think that, but now I think it's probably 2.5 to 3 years because I have to. It's 2 years after Pulsechain comes out, and
I
who
know.
knows when that'll come out. But